Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock, and I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Locations, as the big man said, 4 of them to help you out when your computer's having a tough time. You know, when things just won't work right, when it won't boot, when it won't shut down, when it won't open your email, when it won't Zoom, when it won't update, when it's making a weird noise. They're not supposed to do that. Or worse yet, when it just won't turn on at all. 4 locations to help you out. The original location in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road in South Lincoln. Also in Omaha, 168th and Burke, across the street from the Village Point Mall there, pretty convenient. In Papillion, the third one was the location just inside of the Midlands Place Business Park off of 84th and Highway 370. Great little shopping center if you're in the Papillion metro area. Just pretty much everything you could want to do, all put into one little shopping center. It's really brilliantly done. And also the newest Baby Schrock at 9500 University Avenue in West Des Moines, Iowa, where I have a picture in my phone somewhere. I took a shot. You know, we have cameras in the service centers. You know, we got to keep sure, We have to make sure that, everything's going right and well, and, allocate people where they're needed. And if one service center needs some help, we can flex guys around, things like that. So I hit the cameras for Des Moines, and for the first time ever, their bench is completely full. They had 2 computers in queue. This is significant because the Des Moines Service Center has 36 bench spots. So to be completely full, it was phenomenal to see. From a business standpoint, it was phenomenal to see. From a productivity standpoint, it was like, oh, schneik. We need to get another guy to Des Moines like now because we want to maintain that same day, next day turnaround time. So I'll be down there on Monday to make sure that things are dropping off that bench as fast as possible. So if you want to pop in and see me in West Des Moines, I'll be in there on Monday. But the maintenance checkup special is in full effect, guys, and people are buying certificates. But more importantly, people who purchased certificates previously are finally using them. A lot of people just didn't come out of their house, and now with the vaccinations, people feel a lot safer. They feel like they can come out and do things. We had our second beef football game in the Schrock box. The Omaha Beef football team. It's an indoor football team for those of you outside of the Omaha metro area. And we have a box there at the Ralston Arena. And so, we just had, close friends and family out for the first game because, we didn't know who would come, right? And then we saw, okay, well, it was kind of busy, right? The second game out, this time around, we had a few more people out and a few more people attended. You can see a little video clip that I shot over at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. You can hear the crowd in the background. You got to wear masks when you're in there, but I mean, it's indoor football. I mean, literally, it's aside from the masks and the weird, creepy Orwellian signs reminding you to keep them on, and the masked police in the aisles, which were way better this week. Last week, they were ejecting like nursing mothers out of the arena. This week, it was a much more muted presence. They actually were being called Nazis by the people that were there. They didn't appreciate that. The people didn't appreciate it. It was kind of rough. But it's one of those things where as we get back to normal, I think everyone is gonna find their footing here and figure out what they need to do and what needs to happen to make everything safe for everybody. So we're going to be opening up some of those nights as well coming up here for listeners, especially top fans on Facebook. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, where you can watch the show live right now. If you want to check that out, Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Also, after the program, we do another show called The After Schrock, which has a bunch of stuff in it that just doesn't fit into the regular show. For example, Bitcoin took like a $10,000 nosedive yesterday. What happened? Why did it lose 10 grand in like 12 hours? And why did it get half of it back in the next 6? Well, we're going to tell you what's going on with it. It's not the end of the world. If you've been in crypto long enough, this is a Tuesday, it's not a big deal. Speaking of Tuesdays, coming up on the program, last week, we announced a special price for the popular maintenance checkup special I mentioned. It's on sale. It's only $49.99. That's actually $5 less expensive than the last maintenance checkup sale that we did. So it's a great opportunity for you to get that deferred maintenance done on your computer that you've been putting off for a while, bring it into the service center. Or if you can't come in right now because you're on vacation, you're traveling. Oh my goodness. You're doing something other than something behind your computer for a change. If you can't bring it in because, you're unavailable, you can get a certificate on our website. Go to SchrockInnovations.com, click on Shop and Specials, purchase that maintenance checkup certificate for $49.99, and you've got 6 months to use the certificate. So you can do it on your schedule. You don't have to come in and beat the crowds or anything like that. You can do it on your time. We also told you last week about some concerning booting limitations of the M1 MacBooks. You can't boot from external media ever at all for any reason. It's considered a security feature, but it's something to take note of in the new M1 MacBooks because a lot of people use bootable images as their backup mechanism. And if that's what you do, your bootable image is useless because you'll never be able to boot from it because the hard drive is not replaceable. And, you can't boot from anything but the internal hard drive that's soldered to the motherboard. So happy times there. Just want to make sure you knew about that. Also, by the way, Best Buy can't get those right now. The M1 MacBook. We had a customer tried to buy one. They ended up buying an i7 and Intel i7 MacBook Pro because they couldn't get the M1. Chip shortage is real, people. So we also told you to be on the lookout for a Zoom patch, and I noticed this morning as the show was breaking that there is a patch for Zoom out this morning. Secure Updater does not have it just yet. Within 8 hours, it will. I don't know what the patch does, if it's just a normal service update or if it patches the vulnerability we talked about last week. Literally, as I was coming on the program, I got an alert that there was an update for Zoom. So we're going to look into that for you here into the afternoon as well over at Schrock. 888-250-2091. Those are the numbers to join us on the program today. And as we do every week, if you call in, you ask a question, make a comment, be a part of the program because nobody wants to listen to this guy babble on for an hour, really. We want callers. We want interesting problems. We want solutions because if you have a problem, there's a lot of people listening that have the same problem. We want to resolve it for you. So give us a call, 888-250-2091, and you could win yourself a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. All right, so coming up on the program today, we're going to talk a little bit about maintenance checkups on sale again, just because some people didn't hear the show last week, so we got to make sure we cover that. But we've got some really interesting stuff. Chip manufacturers are realizing that the chip shortage is actually going to continue much longer than expected. How is that going to impact your investment portfolio? What should you do as far as purchasing personal electronics? What's in shortage right now and what's going to be in shortage soon? So there's some things to take a look at here. As we mentioned also last week, the new update for Windows 10 21H1 is coming, and we got the usual deluge of questions about what these updates are, why they don't happen automatically. Does Schrock do these updates during a maintenance checkup? Lots of great questions. So we decided let's do a back to basics segment today. We're going to do a back to basics segment on updating, on what are Windows updates, when do they happen, what types of Windows updates are there? There are 3 different types. Why do they happen? And why sometimes do they not happen? Because, they're supposed to be automatic, but as many of you know, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they just don't work. And then you end up in the service center and we're telling you you're 2 versions behind on Windows 10. And I thought that was automatic. Well, yeah, it's supposed to be. There's a problem. That's why you're behind. That's what we need to fix. So anyway, we're going to tell you all about updates. An incredibly boring segment. Bueller. Now, we'll make it fun. We'll make it fun because, you want to know when your computer's getting updates, right? So, is it Patch Tuesday yet? Let's see. Patch Tuesday was last week, which is why a lot of your computers want to reboot this weekend. You get that little dot down there in the lower right-hand side by your clock on that weird icon you never see usually. And if you click on Start, under Shutdown, there's a dot next to it. Yeah, you need to reboot to install an update. So we'll tell you all about that stuff. Also, now this is going to be the clincher. This is what's going to keep people listening to the program all the way through to the bitter end when Thor runs out of time and then says, sorry, didn't get to that one thing you've been waiting for the entire show. Better tune into the After Schrock. I'm not Sean Hannity. I don't do that to you. Oh, that guy will tease something for 3 hours before he gets to it. It's ridiculous. But I promise you I'm going to get to this story because it's a good one. There's a new website that is allowing you to sell your knowledge. It's like Uber for brains, or it's like DoorDash for brains, or you literally sit behind your webcam, which we all know how to do now, and people who need the information that you have in your noggin will pay you in 15-minute segments for your time. Imagine all the people. The reason I love this story for the show today, imagine all the retired people out there that have such a wealth of life experience. Literally in the Facebook group for the city of Papillion yesterday, I saw somebody posting that they wanted to start a business and they were looking for a business mentor. They didn't want investment capital. They didn't want anything. They were willing to pay for time. They just wanted someone that they could ask advice from to get started. And I think back to starting Schrock, 22 years ago, and if I would have done what that one guy is doing right there, if I would have sought out someone to ask questions from, I could have stopped so many mistakes from happening. So many stupid things that I did along the way that slowed the growth of the company because I didn't know any better. Oh, I could have avoided them and done such great, even better, right? This is a really cool opportunity because a lot of people have a lot of information in their noggin from their years and years of experience and just no way to really give that knowledge to anyone, or better yet, sell it to anyone. And so if there's a way in retirement for you to sit at home and make, some people were charging $50 for a 15-minute session. That's $200 an hour for your knowledge. That's pretty. I don't know if you have to wear like a shirt, like buttons and stuff, or you like a tie, or if you could show up. One guy had sunglasses on with like X's for the eyes, So I mean, you could be a character, I guess. They only have 300 people on the platform so far, so your odds of standing out are pretty cool. So we're going to tell you all about that coming up on the program as well today. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the show. And right now, the talk of the town, the talk of Schrockville, if you will, is the maintenance checkup sale. These things only happen once or twice a year. They're done based on volume. That's why everyone always asks, when is your next maintenance sale coming? People will call the service centers and ask us when it's coming. My staff doesn't know because I don't know, because we do it based on the calendar, the promotional calendar, as well as volume in the service center. It doesn't make sense for us to launch a maintenance sale when we're in queue, when we're so busy the bench is full. Why would we throw more computers on top of that at a discounted price to make our turnaround times and our service levels even, worse? We don't want that to happen. So we wait until the spring and the summer, which is usually, last year was kind of an exception. We didn't have too much action on the maintenance sale in the service center or on site because, there was a pandemic going on. And so a lot of people deferred their maintenance. A lot of people said, you know what, I'm going to wait because surely this will be done in 6 months. Well, then it dragged on, 2 weeks became 3 months, became 6 months, became a year, became continuing now. The thing has gone on a lot longer than people expected. And as a result, a lot of people purchased computers early on. I have to tell you, we were looking at our March numbers from March of 2020. And at the start of March, Parker and I looked at each other. I had a breakfast meeting with him because I'm like, this is going to be bad. We need to figure this out, because, we're a business. We have numbers. We have goals to hit. And, how are we going to do this, Parker? Can we shift the promotional calendar? Because we sold so many computers in March of last year. I mean, we had banks calling us and saying, can I buy a dozen computers? We were selling them like donuts. It was crazy, 12 at a time. We had one place call us, business in Omaha, wanted to buy 72 laptops in one shot. And then they were upset that we couldn't guarantee them that we could actually get 72 laptops. Well, I thought you sold computers. We're like, well, Best Buy sold out and then they closed. Office Max sold out and then they kind of closed too. The Mart sold out. The big furniture store in Omaha, they have a huge electronics department. They sold out. And then they closed too. At one point, we were the only place in Omaha where you could actually walk in the door and buy a computer. And we had them on hand. We just didn't have 72 in one location on hand, Didn't see that one coming. Sorry, guys. I don't know what they have. I think they eventually bought a bunch of used computers. Could you imagine that? You're going to retroactively now, looking back at the start of the pandemic, some businesses sent their employees home to work for a year remotely from a used Dell laptop that came back off of a lease that they paid $500 for that are normally $160 because, they're 4 years old. Could you imagine? Maybe you were that guy. You're like, I don't have to imagine, Thor. I lived it. Maybe you were that guy. But the maintenance checkup sale at Schrock is an opportunity for us to do a few things. Number one, your computer has lost a lot of speed and performance over the last year. The maintenance checkup seeks to restore that by removing unnecessary files, cleaning registry errors, making sure you're not running potentially unwanted programs. Things like the coupon printer that sound really cool, but actually no one ever prints a coupon. Or, just junk software. Maybe you're running that free version of McAfee that you got tagged along with with an Adobe download. And then when you had that one, the next time you got an update, Adobe said, well, you need the free one of Norton now. And then the next time you got an update, it said, well, you've got Chrome. Have you tried Brave? And then you got that one. And so now all of a sudden you've got a ton of programs on your computer that you're never using, that are redundant, that you don't need, that are loading and updating every time your computer starts. That stuff slows you down, guys. So we get rid of any, and of course, we don't delete programs you want. If you want the Brave browser, we're going to leave it alone. But nobody wants the coupon printer. Nobody wants the driver updater. That's a scam. Every single one of those is a scam. We get rid of that garbage and make sure the computer is running as smoothly as possible. Then we clean the interior of the computer as well. Some of them are better than others. Some of them are pretty clean. Some of them are a little more dirty. If you have pets in the home, if you have smokers in the home, if you have an older house or you live in a rural area where there's a lot of dust from that dirt road outside, your computer is going to be a lot dustier and dirtier than something that is in a retirement community. All right, but either way, they all collect dust. They all attract things. We got to clean that out to make sure that your computer gets the air it needs, because computers slow down when they get hot to manage the heat. And when your computer gets hot, it slows down. That shows up to you as poor performance. By removing the barriers to moving that air around in there, we can restore that lost performance. And then, of course, the final thing is we test all the components to make sure nothing is failing. It is a lot less expensive, and I mean orders of magnitude less expensive to fix a problem before it's symptomatic than it is to let it go until you have a symptom. So when you bring your computer in, if we detect that your power supply is putting out wonky voltages and we replace it before, it fries your motherboard, that's a win. Or fries your hard drive, that's a win. If we put Drive Advisor on your computer and it tells us the hard drive is dying, or better yet, we put Drive Advisor on the computer, it says your hard drive is fine, but during the maintenance checkup, we also do a surface test, which is like a 3-hour test of the drive, and it shows that it's got an impending failure in the stress test. We detect failures before even Drive Advisor can detect them. So it's really important to come in for your maintenance checkup. We recommend them once every 6 months. Some people try to push them to a year. Same thing with dental cleanings. People do that. You get more cavities that way. There's a negative outcome to doing that. If you push it beyond a year, then you're that guy that hasn't been to the dentist in 5 years. Yeah, you know who I'm talking to out there. And you dread going to the dentist because you know it's going to be bad. So you just put it off longer, right? And then eventually your teeth fall out. That's, analogous to a computer failure. And then you have to go to the dentist. And then the dentist is like, some of those dentists out there are like, you fool, Why did you eat the candy and not brush your teeth? You should never eat candy and never drink soda. And, you have acid reflux. You should take a Pepsid every night before bed. I've never heard advice like that before myself. Strangely specific, Thor. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Don't be that guy. Don't be that lady, all right? 888-250-2091. You can stop into the service center, drop the computer off. We're open Saturday through Monday, so 6 days a week, from 10 in the morning till 8 in the evening. Sundays, we're open everywhere except Des Moines from noon until 5 to help you out there. You can drop your computer off. We'll get the maintenance checkup done as quickly as possible for you. Most of our service centers are not in queue. Des Moines is the outlier right now. They had 15 computers drop from one customer. And so that slowed us down a little bit. So we're getting those all knocked out of there. But we got some open spots again. I saw Parker cleaned a bunch of it out of there on Friday, and I'll be in on Monday to help out as well, and we'll get that thing whipped back into shape for you. So you can drop those off. If it's not convenient, hit our website, schrockinnovations.com, and purchase a certificate. 888-250-2091. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, chip manufacturers are realizing the shortage is going to be longer than they expected. We're going to tell you what to expect coming up next on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute this pro tip $299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we fix computers, we build websites. A lot of people don't know that. We do online marketing assistance for businesses. We also do data recovery, custom software development, you name it. We got a lot going on over at Schrock Innovations. Number to join us on the program, 888-250-2091, and that's what Ann is doing this morning. Good morning, Ann. Welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Well, I'm actually hoping to ask you a little bit about your website marketing and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, sure.
I am the president of a women's riding club. We ride motorcycles here in Omaha and in southeast Nebraska. And we do a lot of fundraisers and charity events that we would really like to be able to do better live remotes from and put together our own advertising, our own video ads. And I was wondering if right now I'm running with a Hewlett-Packard that has Microsoft 10 on it, and the video production that comes with the Microsoft Office is really clunky to work with.
Yeah.
What is a better software to mend video footage together or stitch it together and really make it pop?
Gotcha. So there's a couple different options you have here. It depends on what your goals are. So first of all, if you are looking to make Facebook ads and things like that, that really, like you said, that really pop, there's a service called Canva, Canva, and Canva does really good. You'll notice if you go to our feed at SchrockInnovations.com, there's some visual effects that move. There's a video ad for the maintenance checkup. Those are all done in Canva. And so that is what we use to try to make some of our Facebook ads pop a little bit better. If you're looking for long-form video editing, I mean, if you're looking for full-featured support and you have the time to learn it, nothing beats the Adobe suite. I mean, Adobe Creative Cloud is literally the way to go. You get access to everything you need for like $30 or $40 a month, from Photoshop to all the way through to if you wanted to make programs, for an event, you've got the software for that. If you wanted to use their Premiere software to edit video, you can do that. One of the things that I don't have a ton of time, and so for me, I can sit down and hack together something on Premiere, but I'm not really getting the benefit of all the really cool features that you could do. So when we need something really, really professional done, we go to Slate Advertising here in town, in Omaha. They do all of our, so if you see a TV commercial for Schrock or something like that, we don't do those ourselves. Those are done by Slate. They bring in the drones, they bring in the booms. I mean, they bring in everything that, they have boom mics and cameras on arms, and it's crazy. They do a great job there. When I need to hack something together, like the thing that I still need to do it. Everybody wants me to do a special on Bitcoin, and I just haven't got around to doing it. Maybe I need to do that today. Maybe I just need to sit in the basement in front of my camera and be like, listen, I'm going to do this now. And then I can start to improve it rather than trying in my brain to figure out how to make it perfect from the get-go. But it's called Shotcut, Shotcut, Shotcut. It's described as a robust, non-linear video editor with enough tools to satisfy most levels of video editing skill. In other words, it's got pictographs for people like Thor. So in other words, it's actually pretty easy to use. And it gives you can take two videos, you can cut them, you can splice them, you can add effects on the ends, you can do motion blurs, you can fade, you can do all the things that are the little touches that make a video look not as rough around the edges. So that's what I would recommend those applications for something like that for what you're doing.
Would you recommend any particular equipment or software to do like live feeds from certain events?
Gotcha. Well, the thing with live feeds is if you're going to do the feed, you're going to need some kind of a service to do it. So that's why we use Facebook for our live show that we're doing right now. It's free, it's robust, it's reliable. You can then use additional third-party services to shotgun that out to other services like YouTube or Twilio, or not Twilio, Twitch, for example. You can send them out to a number of different services that way, but you pay for those services. So my suggestion in the beginning is keep it cheap and keep it small. Get yourself a cheapo $30 webcam from Amazon. Don't worry about giant ring lights. Don't worry about reflectors, crazy ththings like that. Keep it small, keep it simple. Heck, we did the show for 15 years before I added a green screen. It's what to keep it small, keep it simple, and then as your following grows, you can spend money on the equipment. A lot of times, people will go out and spend a ton of money on equipment and realize they didn't really need a $1,500 camera to do a live remote over a cell phone, because the video quality isn't going to be determined by your camera; it's going to be determined by your internet connection.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because so far we've been just working with a $40 kit from Walmart, with a shotgun mic and, a really short, like handheld pedestal for your phone.
Oh yeah. Invest in a gimbal, a cell phone gimbal for your camera. That adds a lot. You can get a good gimbal for like $70. Holds your phone and then makes everything super smooth when you move around, and you look like a pro. You look weird when anybody watching you use it. It looks like you're flipping your wrist around all funky. But no, but the camera looks really smooth, though. Thank you for the call, Ann. I really appreciate you joining us on the program. Advice. Oh, no problem at all. This is what we do. All right, I got to take a break. We're a little behind, guys, but when I come back, I promise we're going to get to the chip manufacturing story. And then in that same segment, we're also going to do our back to basics on Windows updates so that you understand exactly what updates are, when they come, how they come, and what's included and what's not included. And then, of course, the very last thing we're going to cover to keep you listening all the way to the end is how you can sell your knowledge on the internets, how you can make money online from the comfort of your home without selling miniature figurines from a late night TV commercial. Coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it. In 1798, Eli Whitney's Connecticut Musket Factory was the first business in North America to use replaceable parts in a firearm. Before Eli's factory, if your musket broke, you had to send it away to an expert gunsmith for repairs, or just toss it and buy a new musket. Technology manufacturing has come a long way since the 18th century, but you wouldn't know it by looking at today's big box store computers. Dell, HP, Sony, and other manufacturers continue to take away your freedom to upgrade and repair your computer by eliminating expansion and repair options. Some desktops are even powered by a tiny laptop adapter. Schrock Innovations believes in Eli Whitney's idea of interchangeable and replaceable components, and that's why our custom-built modular computers last longer and cost less to repair than computers computers you see at big box stores. Ask your friends and family how often they replace their box store computers, and they'll probably tell you every couple of years. And what do they do with the old machines? They just get thrown out like broken muskets. Imagine a place where your computer's problems can be fixed quickly and inexpensively. Imagine keeping your computer for 6 years or more. You are imagining the kind of computers we build every day at Schrock Innovations. Our modular systems last longer, perform faster, and cost less over the long term than anything you can buy at a big box store. While the talented technicians at Schrock Innovations can't make you a musket even if they tried, our commitment to the freedom offered by modular computers is the modern-day extension of Eli's innovative musket factory. We think Eli Whitney would be proud, and you can take pride in owning a small piece of American innovation. The modular computer from Schrock Innovations. Compute this pro tip 843. Of all computer failures, the scariest and most expensive is the hard drive. But there are some steps you can take to save money and save your data before it's too late. Detecting failures early is important, so install a free utility like Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com to monitor your hard drive's health and receive warnings when there's a problem. But most of all, hard drive failures happen slowly, so early detection is key to reducing the repair bill. Second, if your hard drive makes any unusual noises, immediately turn off your computer and do not turn it on again. These issues are physical problems, and the more you try to use it, the worse the damage becomes. Remember that most computer repair shops do not have the specialized equipment needed to recover data from a failed drive. Never open your drive or allow anyone else to do so. Opened drives always cost more to recover. Schrock does not charge for data recovery evaluations and quotes, so let the local pros look at your drive before you make any recovery decisions. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. 4 Sacramento, California cops were hospitalized Saturday. They were sprayed with an unknown liquid irritant that came from among the dozens of anti-police protesters out in the streets.
The sheriff's office deputies say they located a duffel bag filled with various sized rocks. We did observe some buildings that were tagged. Officers say this group threw rocks at some of the officers. They're declaring this an unlawful assembly.
Guraj Palsanga of Fox 40 reporting. America's premier short track for racing's the scene of today's NASCAR action.
The 2021 Cup season has seen some surprise victories so far, but one team that's hoping for a change of pace today at Richmond Raceway is Stewart Haas Racing. SHR yet to pull into victory lane this season, and Chase Briscoe hopes to fix that with the Toyota Owners 400 this afternoon. Green flag waves at 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
Fox's Matt Napolitano. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Clouds are continuing to gradually decrease this morning with more sunshine on the way today and high temperatures warming up to around 63 or 64 degrees. We'll drop down to the upper 30s tonight as we head into Monday. Most of the day will be in the 40s and 30s with a chance for a wintry mix. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. I hope you got your potty breaks in. I hope everybody got their snack, got their coffee refilled, because I'm feeling particularly like an old man at the moment. Drinking my coffee with my the other day I actually wore a button-down shirt and tennis shoes, and my wife looked at me, she's like, "What are you wearing?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh, I didn't even, my feet hurt, so I just put on my tennis shoes. I didn't even think that, wow, I'm like an old man officially now." They're like, "I remember when you had to lick a stamp. I remember when Netflix came to your mailbox." Literally, Delaney does not remember when Netflix came to a mailbox. She's too young. She's like, "I thought they were always streaming. I didn't realize. Isn't that Redbox that did that?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, no. And then I was reading some stats during the break here. Did you know that Amazon Prime has over 200 million paying members? 200 million people pay Amazon $100 a month. That's $20 billion a year, I say with my pinky finger in the corner of my mouth. And she looks at me funny like, "Why are you doing that?" And I'm like, "Austin Powers?" She's like, "Nope." I'm like, oh my gosh. You probably do the same thing to me. She'll tell me about the latest TikTok star, and I'll be like, "Nope, I have no idea." Oh, well. That's why we have one oldie and one youngie here to make sure that we get everything covered. 888-250-2091. That's the number to join us on the program today. Ask a question, make a comment. We'll put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Now, as promised, the chip shortage is real, guys. We are seeing prices for processors that are 3 generations old. So in other words, like a second generation Ryzen processor in an Intel chip, this would be like an Intel 7th gen chip, going for $8 less than a chip that is 2 generations old or 1 generation old. Literally, there's an $8 price difference. So you think for $8, I may as well buy the newer chip, except there aren't any in stock. So you're like, I guess, do I buy the older chip or do I just wait and hope I get some in stock? And then when they do come in stock, anybody who's bought a Threadripper or a Ryzen 5 processor recently knows you pay through the nose for it. By the way, during the Aftershock today, everybody remind me to give you an update. I have a guy that I know that there's bots on eBay that are bidding up all these things. Like, so when you're trying to buy a processor or you're trying to buy a graphics card, there's guys out there that run automated programs that look for auctions that are priced at a certain price point, and they jump in at the last minute and snipe them or take them, bid on them to win, to capture them, driving up the price across the entire market for these things. And so I know a guy who literally says what did he say the other day? Restoring the graphics card market one bot at a time, because he sells pictures of graphics cards on eBay. So he puts up an auction that's for a picture of a graphics card, but the auction title just says it's a graphics card. In the description, of course, it's very explicit. This is a picture. You're getting an 8x10 picture printed with the highest quality HP ink on a piece of paper. And we're going to mail this to you, first class mail with the tracking number. You will get the best quality picture of a graphics card you've ever received in your life. Any human that reads that is going to be like, I'm not buying that. Any bot that sees the title bids on it. Dude's making $600 a week selling pictures of graphics cards. Every single person that gets the picture in the mail, well, they go back and they contest the auction, right? So I'm like, this is going to blow up in your face. You're kind of running a scam, but you're scamming scammers. So you're kind of like Robin Hood without the give to the poor thing. But, is it good? Is it evil? I mean, this is the age-old question. If you scam a scammer, are you a bad guy? I don't know. So I followed up with him and I asked, how's it going? And he tells me every single person that received the picture disputed the auction, and he won every single dispute because his auction was on point. It was accurate. People bid on a picture of a graphics card. So I guess if you're going to use an automated program to place bids on eBay for you, maybe you should be a little careful about how you do that. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just going to encourage you, if you're buying graphics cards on eBay, please read the descriptions. I would sure hate for you to have to call me and be like, hey, Thor, who is that guy that's doing that? Because I need to have a word with him. The funny thing is he told me about that the week after I bought a graphics card for myself on eBay. And I certainly went back and looked at my auction just to make sure I didn't buy a picture of a graphics card. All right, 888-250-2091. So the reason these prices are going crazy, guys, is the chip shortage is real. Manufacturers cannot keep up. So is there a shortage? By historical terms, no. Manufacturers are making roughly the same number of processors they have always made. The problem is, number one, every consumer good now has a microchip in it. If your toaster has a bagel button, it's got a microchip in it. If your toaster doesn't have a bagel button, it probably has a microchip in it. Every car, every part, even if you don't have a Tesla, is loaded with microchips you don't even see. They're inside your transmission. They're strapped onto the side of the engine. If you go out and you buy a computer, a cell phone, any kind of electronic device, of course, anything with a battery pretty much requires a microchip these days. Now, there's the microchips we all think of, like the ones that Schrock puts in their computers, the high-end microchips that are expensive, and the graphics cards that make online gaming just amazing, and video game consoles. Everybody thinks chip shortage, big expensive chips. Don't think that. The ones that are really in shortage are the cheap ones. The ones that automakers use to put the navigation screen on your display. They're not giving you an NVIDIA, RTX 3060, putting the navigation on the screen of your Ford F-150. It's some podunk junk graphics processor chip that's so old it was probably in the first Simon Says, but they can't get those chips. They're not available. So Ford, GM, everybody's idling production. Tesla's had some trouble making chips. Apple has now announced they're delaying production on MacBooks and M1 MacBooks specifically, as well as some iPads. It hasn't hit the iPhone yet. It's only a matter of time. So everybody is cutting back on producing final consumer goods because all the consumers got a big stimulus check. They've got big unemployment benefits. They're going out and they're spending this money and they're buying consumer electronics. So there's a huge increase in demand that followed a time when, during COVID, there was really no production. So we bought up everything that was in the pipe already. So the warehouses are empty. We bought up all the surplus and now we're literally living hand to mouth. The manufacturers make the devices, they hit the market, and they're literally sold within hours. I have not been able to buy an Antminer for my Bitcoin mine for a year. They sell out so fast. And right now, the aftermarket is crazy. I even tried going to China to buy old, outdated ones cheaper. And they're like, nope, the prices are ridiculous. Like they're U.S. prices that I could pay on eBay. Why would I do that? And ship it from China and pay a tariff? Makes no sense. So, I mean, it's the world is upside down and inside out right now from chip shortages. And TSMC is the company that makes a lot of the chips. They're saying that this is going to go on until 2022. They said that the auto manufacturers are probably going to be hit for about another 6 months before everybody catches up. But it's so bad that TSMC is building another chip manufacturing plant. Now, this is not the same thing. If Schrock says we're opening a new service center and we can crack that sucker out in 6 months and be fixing computers left and right, building a clean room environment chip manufacturing facility is a high-tech, expensive thing to do. That's one of the reasons why it's very hard to onshore them back to the United States, because it takes, hundreds of millions of dollars to build one. And then once you build it, the cost per unit is higher than you get from chips out of Asia. So are you going to build it in America and then use it during the shortage and then idle it and mothball it until there's another shortage? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And so that's why the chip industry is begging the Biden administration for subsidies. They're saying literally, like, you want production in America, you're identifying this as a national security issue. Because keep in mind, guys, every rocket, every missile, every Hellfire, every Tomahawk, they've all got microchips. If there's a shortage in microchips, guess what that means? Munitions are limited. Maybe that's why there's an ammunition shortage. I'm sure that has nothing to do with Second Amendment stuff. But anyway, maybe those smart bullets. Well, smart bullets are hard to find these days. So anyway, the chip shortage is going to last through 2022. We're going to see it getting worse in consumer electronics before it gets better. The original estimate was 6 months. That was the news we brought you in February. Biden, to my knowledge, still has not seated his study group to study the problem. They expected to study it for 6 months to come up with recommendations to move forward. Meanwhile, the industry has recommendations. Biden did have a roundtable discussion with industry representatives this week. And they all told him the same thing. We need subsidies. We need free money. And then all of a sudden, magic things are going to happen. In this case, they may not be wrong, though. They could use some subsidies to bring some of this stuff back onshore, like Intel is. They're building a new plant in Arizona. 888-250-2091. Also, guys, one of the things, Windows updates. I'm going to frame this in the discussion of the 21H1 update. As you know, 21H1 is going to be coming out late this month, maybe early next month. We don't know exactly when the date is, but we know it's coming very soon. We expect it this month. But 21H1 is the 2021. That's the 2.1. H1 is for half one. Giant Microsoft upgrade. So people get confused. They're like, this is an upgrade, but Microsoft calls it an update. But it's not a service pack, but it's kind of like a service pack. But it's different than an update that comes on Patch Tuesday. And Patch Tuesday updates are different from out-of-band updates. So on today's Back to Basics segment, we're going to tell you about the different types of Windows updates, when they come, how they come, and what you need to do to make sure that you're current. So first off, the big ones, the normal ones, every second Tuesday of the month. So the second Tuesday of every month, you receive a huge download of updates to your computer, anywhere from 30 to 60 to 120 updates. And then we're just talking about Windows now. Microsoft products like Windows and Office. We're not talking about any updates you get for third-party software like Zoom or Flash, or I guess Flash is kind of dead, Reader, Skype, things like that. any of those products, those are all extra updates. That's why you have Secure Updater, because Secure Updater doesn't do Microsoft updates, because Microsoft updates are automatic, right? It's silly to have to buy software to install an automatic update that your operating system is supposed to install for you. So most of these are security updates that you get on the second Tuesday of every month. Your computer installs them, downloads them starting on the second Tuesday. Usually it's finished downloading them by Wednesday if you have an always-on computer, and they're ready to install, requiring a reboot, which is why a lot of you have a notification that it's time to reboot your computer. If you reboot, it'll finish installing the updates, and now you're current again. Those are the normal updates you're supposed to get once a month for your computer. Why may you not get those updates? Number one, if you only turn your computer on when you use it and then you immediately turn it off, that's going to prevent your computer from downloading the updates and installing them in a timely fashion. Of course, eventually you will get those updates. It's also reducing the performance of your computer while you're turning it on, because it's freaking out that it doesn't have these updates. So it's going to throw 40% of its computing and internet capacity toward downloading those updates in the same time that you're trying to use the computer. That's why we recommend you leave it on overnight at least once a week. Probably on a Wednesday would be a great day, after a Tuesday. But leave it on overnight once a week so that it gets time to get all of its updates in. Now, another type of update that you're going to see is called an out-of-band update. This is an emergency patch. So this doesn't come on the second Tuesday of the month. They come whenever. It's an emergency. There's some vulnerability that's so bad that Microsoft is releasing an emergency patch on these. These download to your computer in the same way that the updates do every Patch Tuesday, and can prompt you to restart your computer to finish the installation. So if you see a restart notification after you restarted for your Patch Tuesday, that's why. Now, a third type of update is the one that we're talking about here. The 2.1H1 update. This is called a feature upgrade. And so what it is, it's literally a brand new version of Windows 10 being installed on your computer. So they're installing a new version of Windows and then moving all of your documents, files, and programs from the old version to the new version. Some of us oldsters out there, apparently, those of you who remember getting Netflix in your mailbox, or going to Blockbuster, right? Or Be Kind Rewind, if that was you. I'm talking to you right now. You're going to get these updates that come down, and you're going to have to install them. These are the updates that take forever. These ones, especially if you have a mechanical hard drive, they take 30, 60, 90 minutes to install. And if they fail, there's about a 20% chance that it's going to fail on you and lead to some consequence of that failure, whether it's just a repeat installation over and over, or it just doesn't install entirely at all, or it causes your computer not to reboot. All those things can happen. So those updates, Microsoft does not send those updates down to computers that it knows cannot take them for some reason. If you have outdated software, if you have an outdated BIOS, if your computer is just simply too old that it can't run the update, Microsoft will not send it to you. Now, in some cases, modifications can be made to those computers in order to allow them to take the update, buying them additional time. Because if you get more than 2 revisions behind, your computer doesn't get security updates on the second Tuesday of the month. So it's really important to make sure these updates stay up to date. So there you go, folks. Back to basics. All your different updates, that's what you're looking for. That's why it's so important to grab yourself a copy of Safe Upgrade for each computer you want to safely upgrade to 2.1H1 coming out later this month. You can check that out along with the certificates for the maintenance checkup special on our website. Go to SchrockInnovations.com, click on Shop, and then Specials, and you're good to go. All right, 888-250-2091. Got to take our final break. Quick segment when we come back. We got 3 callers, Kathy, Gordon, Richard, and how you can make money on the internets. Coming up next on Compute This.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock, owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Final segment of the program here, so let's jump right into those phones. Kathy, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Well, I bought the safe update, so when the new stuff comes out, I will be ready for it. But how will I know when to run it?
Great question. All right, so when it comes time to run it. So first of all, if you try to run it now, it's going to say, not time yet. So you could just try to run it every day if you really wanted to be curious about it. But when it comes time to run it, obviously, we have your email because we had to get that from you when you purchased. We're going to send you an email. We're going to also do a Facebook Live. We're going to get all over social media about it. We're going to send you a robocall, like a robotic phone call. And then we're going to follow that up. If after all of that you still haven't installed it, you're going to get a call from Parker or from Nikki or from Summer, maybe Shelly, saying, hey, Kathy, have you not done this yet? And you're going to say, I didn't know. I didn't see the smoke signal over there. And we're going to send those up too. So we will make sure that you get your software upgraded. If you purchase Safe Upgrade, that's the whole point.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, thanks for the call, Kathy. Appreciate it. Gordon, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Yeah, I just wanted to know which web browser you recommend using these days.
Gotcha. I use Firefox. It's a good blend of great features and high privacy. I also use the Duck browser for anything that is casual. And I've also heard a lot of people enjoy the Brave browser. So those are the three that I would recommend. Thanks for the call, Gordon. All right, final call of the program. Richard, how can I help you on Compute This today?
Well, I just wanted to let you know that I just finally got the version of 20H2.
Oh, wow.
And I was having problems trying to download it, and I called in and talked to Kane.
Yeah.
And he did a very good job of helping me. It took a little while, and we got things all sorted out, and I finally got the new version in. So let Kane know again, please, that he did a great job. I really appreciate it.
I will, Richard. Thanks for taking the time to call in and make sure I knew about that, because it's always great to hear when things are going right, and I know Kane appreciates that too. For those of you listening, that update was released last October, and he just got it now. That's why Safe Upgrade exists, and it didn't work. So like this is the bottom of the barrel. Microsoft is scraping the bottom of the barrel here with computers. It might sort of kind of work. Yeah. Ooh, I'm going to keep my opinions about things to myself there. There's so many thoughts. All right, so here's the thing, though. Everybody wants to know how to make money on the internet, right? How can you make money online doing something that is easy and cheap, that will make you a millionaire to retire in comfort? You can do this from your RV in the Ozarks if you want. There's a new website called Own It, OWNNIT, Own It. OWNNIT.com, that lets you sell your skills and knowledge through one-to-one video calls. So this new platform recently launched where you can sell your specialties and knowledge through one-to-one video calls directly to your audience. So Toronto-based video service platform Own It could be an easy way to sell your knowledge and skills directly to the people who want to hear from you. You can share your knowledge through question and answer sessions and consulting calls, or you can offer a specific service like resume review or makeup tips, things like that. You can book your service through one-to-one video calls, which are managed through the platform. Specialists, also known as owners, can set their own prices as they describe their service offerings in their profiles. When an owner is booked, they can accept, decline, or reschedule the booking to a time to suit themselves. When they receive a link, the video call details, they also get the video call details with a link, so they can talk directly to their customers. So you don't have to install Zoom or Teams. They give you a direct link from their platform. Works perfectly without having to install anything. The platform launched at the end of January this year and already has 300 owners registered. Own It says owner registration has been growing at about 22% week over week. So shows like this one are telling people about it. And there's somebody out there who's a retired banker who's like, I could give you, a retired mortgage broker. I could give you mortgage advice, and you don't want to do the full-time mortgage broker thing anymore, but you got a lot of knowledge in your head that would benefit people. So why not share some of it? Why not sell some of that? There are 3 ways to find a specialist on Own It. Maybe you want to purchase something on Own It. You can use the search function. How do I find something on Own It? Use the search function, I guess. That's what Delaney would tell me. Search for it. Like, you don't have to, they're not going to mail it to you, Thor. You could use keywords like acting or marketing. See the list of owners who have those skills. There's also a list of recent signups on the homepage to give you a boost. So before I talk about this on the radio show, I wanted to check it out. So I took a look at the website and some of the people on Own It. So there's let me see, the style advisors. They're people who will dress you and tell you, hey, old man, don't wear tennis shoes with a button-down shirt, rocket scientist. Well, if you were a rocket scientist, I suppose that's an acceptable look. If you're Dr. Fauci, I'm pretty sure that's an acceptable look. Zara D is a marketer. She'll help you with your marketing for your business. We have a B2B consultant, B2C consultant, business to business, business to consumer. We have Doodlin' and Dabblin', freelance art and graphic designer who will help you with your graphic designs. A startup advisor, career mentor, a UK tax accountant, digital transformation and online marketing. Let's see, more online marketing. Here's an actor that'll help you with your acting. A music podcaster, help you with your podcasting. An NFL athlete. You can actually have meetings with NFL athletes on this thing. I don't know what he charges per hour, but he'll tell you how to get ripped. That's pretty cool. Terrell Owens is on the platform. You can talk to T.O. if you want. Not that T.O., the other T.O. Sorry, Nebraska listeners know what I'm talking about. And then also the one that I thought was pretty, should I talk about this platform on the show? There's a former Playboy bunny who will meet with you for $50 for a 15-minute session. Maybe you need a confidence boost, she says. Maybe you just need someone to talk to. Give me a call and we can chat. Winky face. I don't know what the winky face means, and I'm probably not going to find out. But I'm just saying, literally, whatever your skill set might be, you can sell it on Own It and make a little bit of money. And I'm sure that Own It takes a piece of the action for linking up buyer and seller. But with only 300 people on the platform, how many times have you ever said in your life, if I only got in at the beginning of that thing? This is the gig economy taken to your Zoom camera, guys. This is something new, something big. Maybe it goes big, maybe it doesn't. Maybe this is the next Zoom or the next eBay. You never know. All right, today's winner, $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate is Ann. You have beautiful calligraphy. Wow, Ann. No, Ann, I have never seen your calligraphy. I was talking to Delaney. She wrote down all the names and numbers for me, and it's like pristine. I'm used to Scott's like scrawling on there, Is that a 4 or a 9? I can't tell. You got the $25 gift certificate. Stay tuned, folks, for the Aftershock coming up, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. We got a lot to talk about. It's going to be a fun one coming up next. See you next weekend, folks.
This is News Radio 1110 KFAB.